right, ladies and gentlemen, at the Spokane Comedy Club, we got a special treat for you. It is funny man Brad Williams for the third time. How you doing, man?
Third time on this podcast? God, it's going to get to the point where I just walk in and I see you and you go, you again. Like, it's that. Now, I'm going to give some advice to all the young podcasters out there.
Yeah, because you do About Last Night.
I do About Last Night in terms of what to do, in terms of how to get your guests. You wrote me several messages. I did not respond. It's been a crazy week, and then you finally wrote me a message and just said, "I'll be there at 6." So you see that? He didn't wait for a yes, much like he does with women. He does not wait for a yes. He just takes what he wants, gives his action, and forces his self upon you. So that is why I'm on this podcast, because I showed up and I'm like, oh, you're in the green room.
In my defense,
I like this podcast. I like you. I don't want people to think that this is literally what you did, and I have a gun to my head to do this podcast. I could have easily kicked you out. I'm that damn famous.
Yeah, you are intimidating. You are. I will fully admit you are an intimidating individual.
I've been called many things in my life. Intimidating is not one of them. So bless you, sir, for that. But yeah, things are going good. I'm happy to be back. Have we done every podcast here in this particular green room, or have you traveled and gone to like Tacoma or something?
Yeah, you and me have done everyone here in Spokane in this green room. We have not done it elsewhere.
I'm not good enough to travel to Tacoma, but the second I say that now next time I'm at the Tacoma room, you're going to be in the green room whether I say to come by or not.
I've been expecting you, Brad.
Yeah, exactly. You just need a cat to pet as I enter the room, and then you'll be the perfect podcast supervillain.
I'll bring my cat Fozzie that I named after Jericho's band.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's awesome. I just saw him not too long ago.
I got a picture. That's Fozzie.
There's
right
Fozzie. Have you tweeted at him? And he usually responds.
He'll retweet, he'll tweet or like it or stuff, but he goes through these phases where
restraining order. Yeah, he'll do all that.
Unfollow you if you because he's in character, and then all of a sudden he's not in character anymore. But
I was really excited at how AEW premiered. I was very excited. We used to have the Monday Night Wars in wrestling. Now we have the Wednesday Night Wars with NXT versus AEW. That's the sound of every potential vagina listening to this podcast just drying up right there as we go into some hot wrestling talk.
I thought it was very well done. Now, I only watched Dynamite. I did not watch NXT last night.
Same here.
Because I wanted to give it my full attention.
Yeah.
And I thought it went very well, ran very smoothly. It was a little less conversation, a little more action.
Yeah, which I'm a fan of.
Crazy concept.
Which is what NXT does as well. And it's funny, I actually enjoy NXT more than WWE for that exact reason. And they're not so strict on the script with the NXT guys.
Very true.
WWE, they're like, we have a script. Oh, no, we have a script. You got to follow it, and it's some great stuff. Great stuff. He's gonna puke. No one got that reference. No one. I don't even think you did. And you're a wrestling fan. You did not get that reference.
I will admit it. I feel like I've heard it, but I'm...
It's a reference to a documentary called Beyond the Mat. Where the wrestler known as Draws originally went to the WWE and as the character Puke, and because he could puke on command, so he's going to show Vince how he can puke, and Vince is like fake calling it, going, "He's gonna puke! Oh, look at him! He's gonna puke!" You know what? I'm going to say something very shocking to your audience. If they've lasted through hot wrestling talk, I'm actually married. I got someone to marry this. What? I don't know how. With all the, and I got her watching wrestling now, and she really likes it. She hated it at first, and now she started watching it, and now she loves it. I don't know what I did to deserve this wife. It's great.
Speaking of wife, you were hosting the Jericho Cruise, and now you can't, but it's for good reason.
Yeah, I was hosting the Chris Jericho Rock and Wrestling Rage at Sea Part 2, the most exciting cruise out there, except for another cruise, which I will plug in just a second. But the cruise date was January 20th, 23rd, 2020. And I was ready to go. And then my wife had the audacity.
The audacity.
Hey, audacity. I'm going to do Vince impressions this whole time. Had the audacity to get pregnant. So our due date is January 18th.
Wow.
And don't get me wrong. I still asked wife. So like you'll be good, right? Like
You got this.
You got this. Like, and I can still go on Jericho Cruise, and she goes, no. And it's obviously the right call for me to stay home and bond with my new daughter, which, I mean, not coming directly on January 18th. Once you start getting involved in the whole pregnancy thing, you find out exactly how unscientific those due dates are. They're just like, nah.
It's a projection.
About this time.
Like fantasy football points. He's projected to score 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, John Ross II is going to get 12 points for you. No, he won't. No, he won't. Yeah. Wow, we're going obscure wrestling documentary. I didn't even go for a famous player. I went for John Ross, the number 2 receiver on the Bengals. What the fuck is wrong? How do I have fans? I don't know how. I don't know.
Your fans are great because I'm one of them.
Oh,
so there's that.
Thank you. Yeah, so we're gonna be. I'm gonna be a dad. I'm very excited. I'm happy that the first time I heard the words "I'm pregnant," my first reaction was "Yeah," and not "I'll make an appointment." You know, what's your Venmo? So it's good. It's good, and you just heard me make an abortion joke, and now you're coming in here to cancel me, aren't you? Son of a bitch. Hi, what's your name?
I just wanted to say hey.
Oh,
I'm
hi.
a big fan.
Oh.
I'm security, I'm bouncer here.
Okay. A bouncer walked in.
Yeah.
Did not introduce himself as a bouncer. Introduced himself as I want to say hi. I'm a big fan. I don't know what that means. Next time say bouncer first, so I know you're a bouncer and not a fan that just knows where the green room is and peeks his head in. I've had that happen many times before. It's really weird. I had a fan one time just walk in, sit down, and start talking. I thought it was the opening act. And he's just like, yeah, I'm excited. Brought my family out. I'm like, cool. Your family supports comedy. Yeah, they support your comedy. I'm like, oh, they don't like your comedy. I don't do comedy. Oh, get the fuck out of here. So, I'm basically what I'm going to tell you is I'm probably going to get murdered at some point. Nice to meet you, big bouncer man. Okay, awesome. Back to it. He's gonna puke. Okay, we're coming
I feel like the stupid but obvious question was it planned, an accident? I mean...
Oh, the baby or the fan walking in and sitting next to me?
The fan was probably an accident.
Yeah, that was very much an accident.
But the baby, obviously you're married, and so it's something that you figured was bound to happen eventually. But I guess, were you guys trying?
Yes, we were trying.
Okay.
Now,
well, there you
we
go.
didn't get to the point of trying where... Like, I've had friends that were trying, and they like, had those ovulation calendars, and all of a sudden their phone beeps, and they go, we gotta fuck now! And that, I didn't want to do that. At least not until we absolutely had to. So, no, we did not do it to that length. We just said, hey, let's pull the goalie for a few months. Let's see what happens. And thankfully, I have very potent swimmers, very powerful. Little arms can go. So they made the journey. A la Look Who's Talking. No one gets that reference. And then we got a daughter for him. We were doing all the tests. Everything's good to go. Everything's good. Everything's working. It's amazing what they do. And we do not know, for those of you who don't know, I am a dwarf, a little person of short stature. What? Brad Williams is going to talk about his dwarfism? He never does that. So, yes, I am a little person. We've done the tests to see if it's going to be a little person or not. They're not very... Or, no, we were offered to do the tests, and they're really invasive, and I got to, draw blood from the fetus, and you're like, I don't need to do that. So now we're going to find out at 30 weeks, and right now we're at 23 weeks. So,
a little countdown there.
Yeah, you start tracking everything in things like weeks and days and months, and I don't know it. whenever someone says, "How far along are you?" I just look to my wife and go, "You take this one." I don't know.
I got nothing.
You're growing the damn thing. You probably know. Give them an update, like, liver just did it. Like something like that.
Tell me when you guys told her mom that you put it as, you got a great toy maker on the way.
You know that from one of my older jokes. That's a callback, sir. We told the moms together because we didn't want it to have that situation.
Oh, you told them first.
Where one knows and one doesn't know, because
Yeah.
that's dangerous. Because the other one finds out that one mom knows and the other doesn't know. Oh, it hurt for life.
Yeah.
We sat them down at a dinner. It was I believe, my mother's birthday dinner, and we had a card and said, "Look what we got you. It won't be here for 9 months." And
That's awesome.
lots of people crying. It was great. Now, we say the moms. My dad was there, too, so he was very proud. It's funny. When my dad found out, he just kind of looked over at me and gave me like a real powerful fist bump that I could only interpret as, "I'm glad your dick works, son." It was a cool moment. It was a very cool moment between father and son to share that and know that there's another generation coming. And I'm like I said, I'm really excited. Some people have said, like, why would you want to bring a child to the current world that we're living in? And question is, well, that's how we make the world better. Is we bring good people into it. So. There's some amazing people out there. I just got done watching the Bill Gates documentary on Netflix, which I highly recommend. And I hope she's one of those good people, and I hope she's like Bill Gates, and that she becomes a billionaire, so I can retire. Stop going to cities I don't like. Not Spokane. Love this city. You guys still have Rachel Dolezal. Does she still live here?
Who was that?
Rachel Dolezal, the white woman that says she's black.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah,
I wish
she
we were
lives here.
famous for something else.
She lives here.
Hey, Bing Crosby came from here.
Oh yeah, famous child abuser Bing Crosby. Is he canceled yet? Have we said that we can't listen to White Christmas because Bing Crosby used to hit his kid with a belt? That's the times we're living in now, everybody. Where I think you're only allowed to watch highlights of Tim Tebow football games at this point. That's the only thing you're safely allowed to do. But everyone else's face is blurred because Aaron Hernandez was also on that team, so he killed some people. So it's all you're allowed to do is watch Tim Tebow football highlights. Everything else has been canceled. Everybody else go home.
I like to. At first, I hated Facebook Memories when they came up with that, but now I use it as like this tool where I will go and be like, let's see what could destroy my life today. What did I post 9 years ago that somebody could
And I've heard many opinions on this, so I'll try not to hack off of people. But even though there's some great ones, the whole culture of that I think is some BS. And the fact that we're doing it mostly to, like, comedians. Although there was that one story. I fucking love this story. So, there was a kid that went on College Game Day, right? College Game Day is the most popular college football pregame show in the nation. He goes on College Game Day, and he's in the background. He holds up a sign. A lot of people do this. They hold up signs. They're funny. They're caricatures, sayings, whatever. He holds up a sign that says, "Need beer money." And he has his GoFundMe.
This was the kid in Iowa.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh man.
And then he gets thousands of dollars donated to him for his beer money. And now he could keep that money. He could just say, "Wow, that was a great scam." It wasn't a scam, but people were dumb enough to give me money. Great, thank you, everybody. And he could, pay off student loans or take a girl out, do whatever. Instead, he gave it all to charity.
Yeah.
And you'd think, like, well, that's a great story, Brad. That's where the story ends, right? Nope! So, there's one reporter, I forgot for what publication.
The Des Moines Register.
The Des Moines Register.
Because I have a bunch of friends in Des Moines, and they are not happy about this.
I love this story. So, this reporter, this Dick Stain from the Des Moines Register goes, well, you know what? Here's a kid who got a lot of money for no reason and decided to give it all to charity. Let's settle his hash. So they go and they go through all the tweets.
Oh, jeez.
And the reporter finds the kid used some slurs when he was 16 years old.
Yeah, 16.
Now, I'm going to tell you this right now. I used slurs when I was 16 years old, okay? You're 16. You're figuring out how to curse. You don't know it yet. It's a skill that you're figuring out. You don't know, you're trying to be cool. You say a lot of things that you don't really mean. I've said some shit. We've all said some shit. At age 16, I unless you were homeschooled, in which case you said something along the lines of "Golly gee willikers," and then your mom slapped you for cursing because that was considered cursing in your house. So the reporter goes and says, "This kid, we shouldn't be praising him because he used it when he was 16 years old." And then a bunch of people in Des Moines said, "Oh, yeah?" And then they went through the reporter's old tweets.
I heard that too.
And they found some shit on him. So it's like, well, you don't have any right to even be reporting this story. You should be canceled. You should never be allowed to work again, you piece of shit. So I love that because it's just a snake eating its tail. And we've gotten to the point now where anyone will be gone through, and anyone will be looked at. Everyone will be examined with under a microscope, and everyone's fucking horrible. You know, you do enough research on anything, and you find out it's fucking horrible.
You will find the dirt.
Yeah,
there will be dirt.
You'll find the dirt. So I think that's a lesson to all you people, that before you start going and being like, the SNL guy said something I don't agree with, make sure you've been squeaky clean your entire life. Because if that's not the case, then we're going to find some shit out about you.
You feel like, and I know it's hard to answer this because of what happened to Kevin Hart with the Oscars, but comics, like, do you feel like they should almost get like kind of a pass because you guys are doing comedy of all things?
I've always been a huge advocate of the comic needs a chance to fail, because we will fail. Everyone expects comedy who's not in comedy. People who aren't in comedy expect comedians just to be like, well, you should just not joke about that. It's like, have you name the comedian. I'll tell you the offensive joke. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. It's like, and we try stuff out, and then we find the funny through the attempt. And it's not going to be perfect. It's not going to come out this perfectly formed joke. You know, we need chances to try it out. So, yeah, I think comedians should get a pass. And also, we're just trying to entertain you. We're not trying to make policy. We're not trying to be like, well, this is what I think should happen. You know what I mean? Like when Stephen Wright said that he dragged an airliner through an airport because his backpack got stuck on the seats. Do we think he actually did that and destroyed an airport and killed hundreds of people while he's dragged? No! It's absurd. We're making jokes. Yeah. I don't understand this. I don't understand the world that we're living in. And this is not an indictment of a certain political party or a certain human being, but it's fucking madness to me that the guy that said I want to grab women by the pussy is the president. The guy who listened to him got fired. Take any Republican Democrat out of that. Yeah. I'd say the same thing if fucking Elizabeth Warren was like, let's grab every man by the balls. You know what I mean? Like, and then the reporter that heard it got fired. Like, that's madness. Yeah. So comedians are being held to a higher standard than our politicians and to people who actually have an influence on your life. Which is like, we're like, the comedians we were always the ones that were allowed to make fun of the king. The court jester was the only person that was allowed to make fun of the king. Now we're saying to the court jester, hey, fuck off, don't make fun of anybody but entertain me. What?
How do you do that?
How do you do that? How do you have it? Because do you want to know do you want to know? Do you have to joke about bad things like that? Yes. Because you want to know what happy jokes are? Not funny. Not funny. Is it going to be really funny if I walk on stage and say, well, let me tell you about my day today, everybody. Got on a plane. Everyone was really nice. It left on time. It landed on time. The staff was great. Got to the hotel. Everyone was really great there. Checked in. Room was clean. No semen at all. And then I got a call from my lovely wife, who I adore tremendously, who was a equal partner to me in every way, shape, and form. And we had a lovely conversation. No one dominated it. It was completely equal. And we both made decisions that affected our future and our relationships. And then about our future child. I say child because I don't want to say gender, because what's gender really? And we're going to leave it up to the kid to decide the kid's gender. You know, I'm being very careful to use all the proper pronouns. That's not fucking funny. You need something to happen. You need your wife to be a little bit of a bitch. You need you to say something. You need the plane to fuck up your luggage. You need the hotel to put you in a jizz closet. You need all these things to happen so you can have jokes. Exactly. So you can have conflict and you can have funny. So if you are sensitive to that kind of thing, also, why the fuck are you going? I don't like gay porn. I don't watch gay porn and then go, these gays fucking have to stop. You see how easy that is? I don't like it, alright?
Yeah, so you don't watch it.
I don't like certain types of movies. I don't watch them and then complain about how horrible the movies is and claim that they're not supposed to work ever again. It's a bunch of crap. Catch the ball. Okay, sorry, watching the baseball game. It's a bunch of BS, and go like okay. And now we're having what's even worse is we have this revisionist history, where like we're going back and finding old tweets, finding old songs, finding old things, finding meanings. They tried to cancel John Wayne a year ago, and it's like, I don't know, he's been dead for 20 years. I think he's canceled for some shit he said. He wasn't woke enough. Like, one of the best comedies of all time is The Hangover. In The Hangover, there's a scene where a guy says into a loudspeaker, "Paging Dr. Faggot."
Yeah.
All right? That happened. That's something. We all laughed at it. Everyone laughed at it. All right? And now, can we now never watch that movie again? Because that movie couldn't be made today. The lines couldn't be said. Things wouldn't be the same. Great. Good job, people. Great job.
There's too much of what we can't do anymore.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy.
Todd Phillips was recently interviewed, who directed The Hangover, and he was trending on Twitter because people said, why aren't you doing comedies anymore? Because he's directing the new movie The Joker, which is out this weekend that we're recording this. And he said, I don't want to do comedies anymore because everyone's woke and everyone gets offended and it's too hard to make a good comedy. And then guess what happened when he said that? Everyone got offended. And he was trending. Because people were like, oh, you can't make a good comedy, Mr. Phillips?
Oh, jeez.
Yes, for the exact reasons that you guys are doing right now. All right, so it's utter and complete bullshit. Sit down, shut the fuck up, and laugh. Enjoy it. It's not something that's, we're not changing the world. We're not making policy. We're not affecting anybody. Just laugh, enjoy it. And if you don't laugh, that's fine. Don't laugh at the joke. But it drives me nuts when people say like, oh, what that comedian said was not funny. And then you listen to the audio recording that they're referring to, and you have a room full of people laughing in the audio recording. Well, it's like, well, obviously it was funny.
Yeah,
because laughter is an involuntary response. You cannot control when you laugh or not. That's what makes the part about being a comedian so in form of true justice, because it doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter what shows you've been on. You have to go on stage. You have to tell a joke that makes people laugh, whether they are there to laugh or they don't laugh. Like, it's an involuntary response. So you can't say that a joke is not funny. You can't say Larry the Cable Guy is not funny. He sold out a fucking football stadium, and he made the football stadium laugh. All right, you can't say Bill Cosby's Himself isn't one of the greatest comedy albums of all time. It is. Oh, does that mean you endorse what Bill Cosby did? No. No. It's a great comedy album. The jokes are good. I don't care who's saying them. The jokes are good. Yeah. All right? Now, does that mean I support all of his actions? Of course not. Fucking idiots. It was my dad's 75th birthday last night. I went out to a nice dinner with my father and my family, and I posted a photo of me and my dad. And I shit you not, man. I shit you not. I posted a photo of me and my dad on my dad's 75th birthday. I got a message from someone that said, hey, my dad left me when I was a young kid. It really hurts when people post photos of their dads. And I'm like, wow. Well, fuck the hell off. And I said, well, you know what? It hurts me when you post photos of you wearing non-tailored pants. Because I can't have a pant unless it's tailored. So you wearing non-tailored pants triggers me. You reaching things on shelves triggers me. Wow. You driving a car without pedal extenders and steering modifications triggers me. Shut the fuck up. All right, it's utter.
I'm blown away, and it's funny because I can totally see that happening.
Yeah,
just like we were talking about AEW, and there was that Chris Jericho and John Moxley. Talk is Jericho.
Yeah.
And he was talking about Vince, and I remember listening to all the stories, sitting back going, this is only believable because it's Vince. Like, if it was literally anybody else saying pooper scooper and like, oh, it's such great shit. Like, you would be like, no way. But because it's Vince, you're like, yeah, I could tell.
This is great shit. Oh, you're going to walk out with a pooper scooper. It's going to be great. You have a poop. You're going to scoop poop. It rhymes. Yeah. Yeah, and that shows you what kind of world that we're living in, because I can say anything. I can say that I posted a photo of me wearing a green sweater. It said, just bought a new green sweater, and someone wrote me and said, I'm colorblind. That's highly offensive to me.
Wow.
I could write that, and you would believe it.
Yep.
It's not true. It didn't happen. But you would believe it.
You would.
Because that's the kind of climate that we're living in right now, that people are getting offended by fucking everything.
Absolutely.
Now he got me fired up. I'm literally going to walk on stage tonight and do a whole new 10 minutes. And it's going to be a lot of shit that I just said on this podcast.
Which is a good segue, because I was going to ask, you being a father-to-be, are you most excited about the actual act of being a father or the material it's going to provide you?
Yeah, I mean, there will be both. I'm excited about obviously being a father, but then also excited about the material, and if my daughter doesn't provide anything good... you can still leave a baby at a fire station, right?
I think it's at the
no penalty
step of a Catholic church.
Yeah. Well, I'm not going to do that. Well, she's a girl; she'll be fine. If she's a boy, that'd be dangerous for him. But yeah. So that I'm very excited about all that. I'm very excited about the material. I'm very excited about just and especially just being at my dad's birthday party last night and seeing. How happy he was and how proud he was of both myself and my sister. There was a moment where he looked at the waiter and he said, "Hey, do you follow stand-up comedy?" And the waiter goes, "Yeah." He goes, "That's my son. His name's Brad Williams. He's a stand-up comedian. He's really funny, and I'm really proud of him." And I'm sitting there just like, "Oh God, don't cry. Yeah, but it was great. It was a great moment. And I look forward to moments like that with my daughter. I cannot wait, man. There's going to be so many great times. And I'm just excited, man. I just don't want to fuck it up. But I have a wonderful wife. I feel like I'm a good person. And I feel like I care. I want to be a good dad. I'm going to be there. I'm going to be present. I mean, as much as I can with my job. But thankfully with things like FaceTime and things like that, I'll be checking in. I'll be getting reports. Whenever she does stuff, it's gonna be. It's so cool. It's so. We only get so many times in life where your life was one thing, a moment happens, and then your life is another thing. Like you were going on a certain path, something happens. Now you have to go on a different path.
Like this whole conversation.
Yeah. Your life will be forever changed for the better. Based on you just talking to me. No, but there's only a couple moments in life when that can truly happen. For me, it was obviously when I did stand-up comedy for the first time. It was like, well, this is different. now I'm doing this, for the rest of my life. When the moment I married my wife, and now it's going to be the moment that my daughter is born. So I know that the world will change for me personally, and hopefully the world in general changes for the better.
I think you'll be a great father. The only thing in my mind that you've screwed up on is being a Broncos fan. You want to talk about that?
Very painful. Very painful this year. But you know what? Here's the thing, though, is when you're a fan of a team, you can't just be a fan during the good years.
No,
you got to be a fan during the bad years as well.
Yep.
So I'm not going to hide the fact that I'm a Broncos fan, even though we're fucking 0-4. So I'm going to be a public Broncos fan. I will still fly the flag. I mean, I got my buddy. He's a Raiders fan. And don't get me wrong, I hate the Raiders. But he's publicly been a Raiders fan for years. They haven't won since, the 70s? I don't know. They got the Super Bowl with Gruden. Or not with Gruden, against Gruden. So, yeah. It's Cleveland Brown fans, Detroit Lion fans. Like, there's still those people out there.
They exist.
And in 10 years, when Tom Brady finally retires, there will be shitty Patriots fans that then hop off the bandwagon and then are a fan of whatever team is hot at that moment.
It is baseball town. We're Red Sox fans.
Yeah, exactly. Patriots. Who's that? Bill Belichick. I mean, they were good, I guess, at one time.
Never heard of
it. There's going to be shit like that. So, I got to stick by the Broncos. It's funny. As we're recording this, we're watching Game 1 of the National League Division Series. I'm watching my Dodgers. I'm everything LA except for football. I'm a huge Denver Bronco fan. My dad went to Stanford with Elway, so he said we got to support a Stanford-led team. So that gave me Elway with the Broncos or Jim Plunkett with the Raiders. And because I don't have face tattoos or priors, that made me a Broncos fan. And once your team is your team, it's your team. I have no respect for the people that are like, you know what? No, I'll slightly adjust this. You are allowed to switch, but only if the team truly just does not give a shit about you, okay?
Yeah.
Like, if you're a Washington football team fan, like the Washington Redskins, yeah, you can ditch them. You can ditch them until Daniel Snyder is no longer owner.
I will agree with that.
I totally understand that.
I almost stopped liking my 49ers because they still had, their terrible just ownership and GM, Trent Baalke, and making all those horrible decisions.
But as we're watching the Dodgers, I'm reminded of our owner before the previous, or the owner before the current ownership group was a guy named Frank McCourt, who did not give a fuck about the Dodgers. They were last every year.
Yep.
And he didn't give a shit. He had 9 houses in the Los Angeles area. That tells you how good he was with money. 9 houses in one. What the stupid. And then he got divorced, thank God, and then he had to sell the team. So, sometimes you can stick it out and things can change around. Like for the aforementioned Cleveland Browns, it looks like it's slowly turning around. Now you have a culture that actually wants to win you games. So, but in general, once your team is your team, it's your team. If you, like, and then also, I can't stand it if people are like, well, I'm a Chargers fan and I'm a Raiders fan. Same division? Fuck off. No.
Pick one and stick with it.
You're not allowed to do that. You can have an AFC and an NFC. All right?
There you go.
That's the closest you can get. All right? I'm Broncos in the AFC. They're my number one by far. And I'm Rams, Los Angeles Rams in the NFC. But if the Broncos ever played the Rams in the Super Bowl, I'd be wearing my damn John Elway jersey.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, I think that's appropriate. I don't like people that I like the Warriors and the Rockets and the Bucks. No, shut the fuck up, okay? You're like the guy that puts money on every single number in roulette and then goes, I won! Yeah, no shit. All right.
So in closing, you're here all weekend, and I heard that you're doing one night is a special, the About Last Night podcast. You recording one here?
No.
Oh, okay.
When did that happen? Cut that.
A friend of mine said that you were, and I was
That's
like, I don't know.
But one thing that we are doing that I will publicize is I am actually, and this has been announced on our podcast, I'm actually leaving the podcast Once we get to 500 episodes, I'm going to be out because I want to be able to spend time with my daughter. I don't want to be like, sorry, I missed your first steps. I had to interview the doorman at the Comedy Store. Okay? Which, granted, we've had amazing guests, so it's not just like doorman at the Comedy Store. But, yeah, that's something that I decided to do, that I just want as much time as possible. So
respectable and understandable.
So it's ending, but we've already planned the reunion tour. This is like Van Halen. We've already planned the reunion tour. It's gonna be. We talked about the Jericho Cruise earlier.
Yep.
It's gonna be the About Last Night podcast cruise, the Adam Ray and Brad Williams Halloween Spooktacular at Sea, October 30th through November 2nd, 2020. You have a year to plan,
dude.
people.
I'm going. I am going. Yeah.
Long Beach to Mexico. Cheap cabin. It's going to be me. It's going to be Adam Ray. It's going to be the goddamn comedy jam and the band. So we're going to have some comedy. We're going to have some karaoke. We're going to have some. We're going to have a crazy time, man. It's going to be a great time. Long Beach to Mexico, 4-day cruise. Yeah, 4-day cruise. You always wait till the last minute on Halloween. You're like, oh no, I'm not doing anything. There you go. Year in advance. Figure it out.
Advance. I like it.
Get on the boat. Cabins are not that expensive. You can do it.
All right, so last question then.
Sure.
On the About Last Night podcast, you guys had Seth Green, and he went into character as Kenny from Can't Hardly Wait.
Yes, he did.
If you could pick any character from any movie to interview, who would it be?
Wow. Any character from any movie
Yep.
to interview. Passion of the Christ, Jesus Christ.
Really?
Yeah. Be like, dude. So, like, really? Son of God, huh? You know, I'll find out.
Wow.
No, yeah, either that or, like, Statler and Waldorf, you know, from the Muppets. I probably got their names wrong. But, you know, the two old guys in the balcony. I feel like that'd be fun. Or Garth. I mean, we've had Dana Carvey on, but I'd also like to interview Garth. Yeah, but that's a great question, though. What character, any all time, would you like to interview? There's so many that you say you want to interview, and then once you would start, you'd be like, oh, no, I do not want to interview this person. Like, you might say, hey, Borat, that'd be funny. Borat was a really funny movie. You would not want to actually interview Borat.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, I'd want to interview... I want to interview Patrick Swayze's character from Roadhouse.
There you go.
So you're a professional bouncer. You just go from club to club, clean it up, and you're the best of the bit. Like, I have so many questions. Either that or Emilio Estevez's Coach Bombay from the Mighty Ducks, because I figure he'd give me a damn good pep talk.
I'd probably interview Kronk from Emperor's New Groove, just because I want Patrick Warburton to narrate my life.
Beware the groove! So, Patrick Warburton.
Yeah.
So, you know, he wants you to... That's
from
right.
The Tick would be great, too.
Yeah, that's right. This is the F.A.N. podcast. It's great. It's great. It's good. It's a good time.
All right, Brad Williams in Spokane all weekend. You will not want to miss it.
Yep.
And he's going to get back to watching his playoff baseball and eat his food. But, Brad, thank you so much.
Hey,
Pleasure, man. Always.
Thank you again, my friend.
All right.
Do you remember the time that Mark Sanchez ran into his own player's blood? That was funny sports.
Thank you for having me on the show, man. I love the F.A.N. show.